Alright, welcome to the Hagen Nation show for Friday, January 18th, 2019. I meant to record this last night actually, most of it, but I had shit to do, so I didn't have time to get to it until 8:46. So there's a pretty high chance you're gonna hear this on Saturday, the 19th of January. Okay, because it's gonna be pretty damn impossible for y'all to listen to this on January 18th. Now, some nerd, a year from now, he will bookmark this, or she, they will bookmark this somehow and say, hey, I'm typing on January 18th. I thought you said you couldn't do it. Which one of you fucking nerds is it gonna be? Which one of you nerds is it gonna be? Probably some guy typing right now. Anyway, this is the first Hagen Nation show. Ways to get in contact with me, all in links in the description below. If you're too lazy to read them, I do not care. Alright, Twitter is at Hagen Nation, capital H, capital N. Instagram at Hagen_Nation. And I do have an email as well. It will be all over the place on this first episode of the Hagen Nation show, and I will try to do these twice a week. And also advertising. I got no fucking advertising, so if you have a product to sell, send me a code and I'll put a deal in, because right now, as I said, I got no fucking advertising, so that's how it goes. So I have a lot of shit to talk about. That's why I'm giggling right now. I got obviously those two huge games Sunday night, and I have a lot of football fans that do subscribe and watch this channel. Two rematches in the regular season, which I don't think has happened in a long time. Two rematches in the regular season. I got some hockey I want to talk about. I gotta talk about some these Los Angeles Rams fans are trying to petition the NFL to remove the referee, the official, out of a game. I gotta talk about why that shit's stupid. Also, Australian Open is underway. Why is it my favorite major? I'll tell you that. And have you ever had a friend, you probably had several people tell you this, let me get a club a woman. It's all bullshit, and I'm gonna tell you why here in just a second. Also, I just burped. I'm gonna make a rant about the Yellow Pages. It finally met its demise after it should have met its demise 30 years ago, but it hasn't. Not until this time. And if you're students at Seaweeds High School, I have two occurrences that will shit your pants in about 4 days. Both of them are proving my teacher was wrong, so hold on until that. Okay, so really and truly the first topic, now that we got the intro out of the way, will be the football games. Okay, and I'll probably have somebody go, hey, why didn't you bookmark it? Oh, my bookmark it. I don't know. I may timestamp it. If you don't, oh well. Also, I already had some complaints. Hey, you going with a black screen? I want a white screen. I want a white screen podcast. The whole idea of me doing this is for you to get up and do something while you listen to this, instead of just sitting on your ass and typing comments about people drinking a hot pocket, eating a hot pocket, drinking a fucking Red Bull. Get up your ass. Anyway, so I'm gonna talk about the NFC Championship first between the Rams and the Saints. This is a rematch of Week 9's game between the two, and I've said all along, if you've been following me, that nobody's gonna beat New Orleans at New Orleans. And why is this fucking thing popping up? Alright, by the way, Spectrum. What the fuck? Okay, I got DirecTV. If any of y'all want to know, I got DirecTV. But I have Spectrum Wi-Fi for whatever reason. And it goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down like two people are mad, right? So what the fuck? Get it together, Spectrum Cable. You want to actually hear a story? I was on the phone last week when I was taking a shit about fixing my fucking internet. And apparently they're sending a technician out on Tuesday. It's been fucking ridiculous. Spectrum Cable. Wactrum. It's a joke. They are a little pain in the ass. I mean, what the fuck, Spectrum? Shitty cable. I always hear it goes out. I don't know how true that is, but I have many friends because this is Central Florida, so it is a dominant cable provider. Fucking shut the fuck up with your honking. Ha ha. You been in car rides with these assholes that like to honk and give people the finger all the time. I'm like, that's not a way you want to live, bruh. Anyway, what the oh yeah, we were talking about the Rams and Saints. So I've said for many months now that is gonna be the Saints in the Super Bowl. Number one, nobody's beating New Orleans in New Orleans. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. Okay. Drew Brees, they were down 14-0. Okay, to the Eagles last week. And basically shut them off for the final 3 quarters. And was it dicey? Yeah. I thought they were going to blow away the Eagles. I honestly thought they would. But going to New Orleans and beating New Orleans at New Orleans, even though it's tough to beat an NFL team twice in one season. I don't think Jared Goff's the quarterback for Rams. I don't think he's mature enough to take the stage. I really don't. He got it easy last week over the Cowboys. It was at the Coliseum. It was at Los Angeles last week. This is going to be probably in the toughest environment for a visiting team is New Orleans, because those fans, Mardi Gras is coming up next month, so they don't care. They don't give a fuck. And they just love their Saints. That's all they love. Hagen, New Orleans has a basketball team. The Pelicans. Oh, shut the fuck up with your New Orleans Pelicans. Nobody supports the damn team. Once Anthony Davis goes to Los Angeles, because that's what will happen. It's over. You might as well contract the team. God damn. But Los Angeles does have a good defense. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Aaron Donald is probably the best pass rusher in the NFL today. He really is. But New Orleans, and they had 2 weeks rest, and now they have another week to get their offensive line healthy. For again to get healthy, that way they can run the routes, which is similar to Kansas City. I'm gonna be talking about them later, but I just don't see the Rams beating the Saints. I really don't. This will be a very highly competitive game, as was in Week 9. I just think the Saints come out on top, and the Saints go to Atlanta on February 3rd of 2019. And that's the first game at 3 o'clock, by the way. It's on Fox, and fucking Joe Buck. He's like fucking nails on a chalkboard. You ever hear him? I put the game on mute. I put the son of a bitch on mute. I really do. I fucking hate when he does games. It just makes my blood boil. I didn't even listen to the Cowboys-Rams game. Him and Aikman sound so boring and so disinterested. Like, sound excited. That's what you're supposed to be sounding like in a broadcast booth. Not, oh, touchdown, like we can barely hear you. Like we're at a church. Holy fuck, is that annoying. Anyway, so that's what's happening in the Big Easy. Now let's go to the Arrowhead in Kansas City. This will be the later of the two championship games on Sunday at 6:40, 6:30, whatever the fuck. It's on CBS, so at least Tony Romo's doing the game. And by the way, I don't really give a shit who's doing the game, what network, what broadcast team. If a broadcast team is good, I'll put the game on sound, and if it's not, I just put it on mute. It's really that simple. I can care less if Buck or Nance or fucking Michaels or whoever does games. I really care less. But this is a rematch of Week 6, in which New England, built a huge lead, and then Kansas City came back, and New England kicked the game-winning field goal to beat Kansas City 43-40. It was a very thrilling game, and anybody knows me for a period of time knows that I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. And I was born in 2000. And the last time they were in an AFC championship game was 1994. So I was -7 years old at that time. Okay? Against the Bills. So, I've been waiting for this fucking moment for a long time. Okay? Now, since Sammy Watkins is back at wide receiver, that opens up the playbook quite a bit. That way, Tyreek Hill is not as dependent upon old Kelsey. When they played last week against the Colts, and the defense improved tremendously for Kansas City Chiefs, I was very surprised, because they made Andrew Luck look like a fucking Pop Warner quarterback almost. I mean, that was shocking. That was probably the most shocking result last week. Was the Chiefs just blew out the Colts, just blew them out. But when I want you to go back from week 1 to about week 8 when Watkins got hurt. 2nd and 1, 2nd and 2, 2nd and short, 2nd and field and 5, instead of throwing the ball, Mahomes throwing the ball to Tyreek Hill every time for 1st and 10. These motherfuckers. And by the way, I live on a busy road, so that's what happens every fucking Friday night. People get fucking drunk, down in Jack Daniels, they can't handle themselves out in public. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, so yeah, 2nd and short, instead of throwing a deep ball, like I said, when you have 2 wide receivers, it's going to be extremely hard to cover both of them. If Watkins is anything like he was against Indianapolis, just taken away, just making New England cover both, Kansas City's going to be as effective, if not more effective, than Indianapolis, rather, excuse me. Now, New England, I was shocked to learn that the last road playoff win for New England, the last Patriot playoff win away from Foxborough, away from Gillette Stadium, was 2006. I was shocked. Thought it would have been much sooner, but then again, outside a couple trips to Denver, in which they both lost, I mean, New England has not had to go outside Massachusetts in January for a long time. 3-5 on the road. Whatever happens this Sunday, make no mistake, as a Kansas City fan, and I'm a Kansas City fan, this is a new era in Kansas City. It's not a struggling playoffs anymore like Marty Schottenheimer days or, the Trent Green days or Dick Vermeer, whatever. This is a new era. And so Kansas City is going to be relevant for a long time, barring some kind of injury or trade or whatever. It's a great time to be in Kansas City. New England's defense is questionable. Both defenses are really questionable, actually. I expect this game to have a lot of points. Arguably more than the Rams and the Saints. I really do. Because New England's defense on the road is not that great, and Kansas City's defense just period is not that great. Oh yeah, by the way, I have the Saints 35 and the Rams 28, if anybody's interested. And I have the Patriots, as much as it will pain me. I think experience goes a long way with Gronk and with Michelle, with Brady and Belichick. I think experience goes away here, and I think New England 28, Kansas City 27. Whether Kansas City just red zone is going to be, if they can convert in the red zone like they did against Indianapolis, I think Kansas City wins the game. I really do. But if they can't and they have to settle for field goals, it's a recipe for disaster. When you're inside the 20, and Belichick always says this, you gotta score a touchdown. You got to. Especially against New England. You gotta score a touchdown anytime you're inside the 20. And, I've made a video about this Tuesday if you have not seen it, but a couple updates. Kansas, and it's going to be dry on Sunday night, so no snow, no ice, no anything like that. And it's going to be about 22 degrees at kickoff. And like I said, cold weather has nothing to do with the game, okay? It's not like Miami against Kansas City or fucking Carolina against New England and New England. It's going to be okay. Mahomes has played in cold weather before. Brady has, obviously. I mean, just ESPN and Fox, like I said, just stop trying to fucking make small talk. I mean, that's what you're doing, and it pisses people off like me. How cold is this? Like your fucking meteorologist for the weather channel from like the National fucking Weather Service. God damn. 20 degrees in Kansas City at night is pretty normal in January. And I'm going to tell you why here in just a second, because I already have assholes asking, oh my god, it's climate change. Oh my god, it's the end of the world. I don't know what will happen. I'm going to get to you guys in just a moment. Alright, enough with the conference title game previews. I gotta tell you this story about these 1,000 Los Angeles Rams fans. Some person actually had time. Some person actually had the audacity to find this. NFL referees. Now, I criticize NFL referees, as I'm sure most of y'all do. When they're wrong, and when they're clearly wrong as well. It's not like a subjective call. It's like, oh my god, that referee screwed up big. Bill Vanovich is the referee in question, and he will officiate the Rams and Saints on Sunday. When the assignment got announced, Los Angeles Rams fans signed a petition, 1,000 of them, to try to get Vinovich removed from officiating the game. And to know what the main reason was, and Vinovich actually refereed the game between those two teams, the Rams and the Saints, Week 9. So he knows those teams pretty well. And he's also regarded as one of the top referees today. They're 0-8 since he came back in 2012, and he had a heart condition. He couldn't officiate for several years. But since 2012, the St. Louis Rams over Los Angeles Rams have been 0-8 in games in which Vinovich has officiated. Yeah, seriously. From 2012 to 2016, the St. Louis Rams and the Los Angeles Rams just were fucking mediocre under Jeff Fisher. You didn't think anything had to do with that. I get it in the last 2 years. Okay, he's 0-5. But he officiated your game, the Eagles game, and let's just say a game from last year. So at worst, you're going to be 0-3. Do you think a referee will have hands in all of those 8 games? Think he has it out on you that he hates the Rams? No, dumbass. Okay, and 1,000 petitions out of like 30 million that will watch a game. That's good logic. That's good California logic, right there. God damn. Petition. Who gives a shit who the referee is? I mean, honestly. Let's stop. I mean, I've had enough, honestly. Fucking petition. It's like these guys. Hey, petition this, petition that. Petition to fire the coach at UCLA. Or petition to, for my teacher to get fired or whatever. What are you doing? It's obviously not going to do it, even though it's a constitutional right. Nothing's going to get done. So shut up and deal with the consequences. It's just a fucking football game. And the Rams are an underdog as is. So, that's what I have to say about the subject. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. And any legitimate fan that signed that petition, what the fuck are you doing? Okay. Referee assignments have nothing to do with outcomes of games in the NFL. Nothing. That was just a mere coincidence. Since 2012, like anybody's gonna be fooled by that. When a team sucks 5 out of 7 years. Fuck out of here with that shit. Anyway. Let's see here. We're 23 minutes in, that's it. You'd imagine a 23-minute podcast. I subscribe to actually a couple guys that have like a 7-minute podcast. That's all they do. Like I have the hour-long podcast, and then some people do on the side like a 7-hour podcast. Oh, a 7-minute podcast, a 7-hour podcast. You see why this is Friday, right? I'm going to edit it out? No, I don't give a shit. Okay? It's fucking Friday. And there's a train. There's a train about a mile from here. Living... I was about to say Night Train by GNR, but I didn't even have the lyrics correct. So obviously I can't sing if I don't have a proper lyrics. So that's a national tragedy. But what the fuck was I gonna say? Done forgot it. It's irrelevant now. I live in Daytona Beach, Florida, and a lot of people say, hockey, nobody cares about hockey, you're not gonna listen. Shut the fuck up. You're gonna listen to everything. Everything about hockey. And I will be talking about hockey because I'm a big hockey fan and I control about this channel and what I talk about. So if you do not like hockey, advance forward in this podcast. That's about it, what I can say. I got three main stories. And my favorite team's the Nashville Predators, by the way. The Nashville Predators. They're doing pretty well. I'm going to talk about them in just a second. But in the past 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, Anaheim has been wasted since New Year's Eve. Like, they've had full bottles of Jack Daniel's whiskey on New Year's Eve and have all been pronounced dead at this point. Because prior to last night's win over Minnesota 3-0, they have lost. They lost 11 straight. I think in regulation, all of them. All of them in regulation, and they still are 1 point out of the playoffs. What the fuck does that work? Okay, you have a team that is discombobulated. A team that is not going to challenge San Jose. A team that's not going to challenge Las Vegas, or Nashville, or Winnipeg, or Calgary. Okay? You might have a team that backs in the playoffs, like an 8 seed or whatever, and lose in the first round to like a Winnipeg or Calgary. Okay, you do have experience. You don't have a whole lot of depth in Anaheim. Nobody goes to the games in Anaheim. Everybody that's a hockey fan in California even likes the Kings or the Sharks. Nobody likes the Ducks, even when they won the Stanley Cup in 2007. Nobody gave a shit about the Ducks. It's like a wet-head stepchild. Okay, that's a classic example of the Anaheim Ducks in a nutshell. Nobody cares, and they're dropping, and they might get in the playoffs, but they're not going to do anything. God, who do they play tomorrow? I don't even know who they play. I think they're going to lose whoever they're going to play because, quite frankly, Anaheim just... every time I see the Ducks play, and I see hockey frequently, but every time I see the Ducks play, I just see a team that is so disinterested. It is unbelievable. Okay? In the Pacific Division, I mean, they have the Kings, the Knights, and the Sharks. Other than that, who do you have? You have the Orioles. Oh, hallelujah. Okay, they're barely above 500, and that's after firing a coach. The Canucks, or the Coyotes. The Blackhawks, the Blues, the Avalanche, and the Dallas Stars. Who else? I'm forgetting somebody. In the Wild. Outside the top 5 in the West, and we can all agree, Winnipeg, in no particular order, but Winnipeg, Nashville, Calgary, San Jose, Las Vegas. Okay? Outside the top 5, the West of the Western Conference is just pretty crappy at the moment. There's going to be... I don't think any teams are going to contend from 6 on in the West. I just don't. It's wide open. The 6, 7, and 8 spots are wide open. They're not going to host a playoff series. It's just going to be there. If it's a team like Vancouver and Edmonton, it's going to be a big deal. If it's a team like Anaheim or Dallas, they do not care. They're not even lovable losers. They're just losers in a lot of people's opinions. So, like I said, the Western Conference is just, it's not that overly, it doesn't have depth like it did last year. Maybe that'll change during the trade deadline. I don't think so, but we shall see. There's a reason why I'm not a trade expert or whatever, scouting, whatever the fuck you call it. I don't even know. And a story, and I'm a little late because it got announced January 6th, but I do not care because I want to talk about it because I'm also part Canadian. And I think this needs to happen every year. The Heritage Classic, for you, those of you who do not know the Winter Classic, the Winter Classic is an outdoor hockey game that is hosted New Year's Day at an outdoor stadium somewhere. The Heritage Classic actually outdates the Winter Classic, but has been played 4 times in 16 years as opposed to an annual schedule, as a once yearly kind of thing. It's been revived next year, 2019-2020. Calgary, Winnipeg, October 26th in Saskatchewan. Now, I'm part of this group of people, and I'm sure it's quite a bit of percentage in that follow hockey, that thinks the NHL does not care about Canada. They can give two shits. When expansion came around, they didn't even consider a team in Quebec or considered second team in Toronto or wherever. They just said, okay, Las Vegas, okay, Seattle, we want your teams. And it's not bad. That's not shitting on Las Vegas or Seattle, because anyone that's watched hockey has saw Las Vegas thrive. And that's good. That's really good. But if Las Vegas works out. Instead of giving the 32nd franchise to Quebec to make it 24-8, a 3-1 ratio, it's easily divisible. It's easily, followed by everybody. No, they gotta be greedy and they gotta go to Seattle. Okay? Which obviously wants basketball. I don't think many people want hockey. Then again, I said the same thing about Las Vegas. Okay? Goddamn. But, it is good to see the... I get so off topic. But it is good to see the Heritage Classic back. For next year. It should be annually with the Winter Classic. I don't know why it's not. It's good. It's good for the sport. It really and truly is. Outdoor hockey games. It's a flashback. Everybody loves them. And then you do the stadium series. So you do 3 outdoor hockey games a year out of 1,400 games. It's still prestige, if you will. It's very prestigious. It's an honor. It's not the norm. I love these people. It's a norm. Motherfucker. Outdoor hockey is 3 games out of 1,400 hockey games a year, okay? It's not spoiling it. I don't take... I'm not a very good math student, but 3 divided by 1,400 is a tiny percentage. It's about 1/4%. Okay? And we're not talking about getting anthrax or something. We're talking about outdoor hockey games. Okay, you do the Winter Classic, the Heritage Classic, and a Stadium Series. You're gonna be fine. That's what they should do. Maybe in the next CBA the NHL does, they should do that. I think it'll be good. If I was a commissioner of the NHL, that's what I would definitely do. That's for sure. Another thing. This is the final thing about sports related. The Australian Open is underway, and this is going to be brief compared to the other 3 topics. But, the Australian Open is in day number 6, 3rd round of 32. It has been my favorite major since I started watching tennis when I was 13. I'm 18 now, but number one, there's action at 2 a.m. Who does not love that? But it's a teenager over 20s and stuff happening at 2 a.m. That's pretty awesome. I gotta be honest. Uh, and also the choice of music. Australians are laid back. They don't care. Guade mate, you want to be here or whatever. They don't care. But Australians, their music choices, AC/DC, NXS. I always have a soft place in my heart for Australian music. Man at Work or whatever the fuck that band was in the 80s. Even though they had some of the cheesiest songs ever known to man. But, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll or whatever. Some AC/DC song. That's actually how I first heard AC/DC. So without the Australian Open, I may not listen to AC/DC. How about that? How about that for starters, eh? And it just, you know, there's not a whole lot of rules. Wimbledon's all about rules, and I get some of its tradition and whatever, so why not? But, I just like the Australian Open. It's laid back, it's the first major of the year, and it's often more than not a classic. You know, you watch Nadal and Djokovic like in 2014 or whatever, and then Federer and Nadal 2 years ago. I mean, that shit was insane, and Federer getting it again last year. And hell, he's gonna be my pick this year. Dude's a legend, man. 20 majors. Roger Federer. He might get major 21 this year. Goddamn, there's still a train coming. You might hear in the background. I don't know. But, that's what's going on in the other half of the world. Now, I have the next topic I'm gonna be talking about is why is it gonna be cold? And that's what I hear all the time. Hagen, why is it gonna be cold? Like it's fucking, like I said, fucking anthrax or something. Fucking mad cow disease. You know, there's a process in the winter. Climate change, and some of y'all may believe it, some of y'all not. But for polar vortex, and what that basically is Arctic air that's typically trapped in northern Canada, Siberia, and Norway, Alaska. But oftentimes, okay, so the atmosphere is made out of layers. And welcome to science class with Hagen. Okay, so we're talking about the second layer, the stratosphere. If that warms up, and it's warming up now, in the Arctic Circle, what that does is that displaces the Arctic air, and so the Arctic air dips south, and dips south quite a bit. So Kansas City will be in the single digits Saturday night. Jacksonville will be freezing Sunday night, like 31 degrees or whatever, so it's not a hard freeze, but it is a freeze nonetheless. And this has happened many times. It's nothing new, even though the media says it's something new. It's not. It was very common in the 1980s, the 1950s, and now it's kind of picked back up. 2014 was a really bad year in the East Coast as far as temperature goes. New York was in the negatives most of January, so was Green Bay, Chicago, Kansas City was in the single digits all of January 2014, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, I mean the list goes on. And it was one cold blast after another, and that's what's going to happen. So the initial blast will be this weekend in the East Coast. Then another one Wednesday or Thursday next week, and then another one the following week. So it's a multiple waves of succession, if you will, of cold air just invading the eastern seaboard, and it's not pretty. You'd imagine if there was an ice storm in like Washington D.C. or New York or whatever. It'll be like the purge and shit. People will go outside and commit crime, and once the power goes out and shit, fucking some part of me wants to see it. All power in Washington D.C. or New York out for now. People will riot in the streets. Oh, there'll be a lot of crimes. It's not gonna be a good night. So keep the power on. That's all I gotta say. If there's an ice storm, keep the power on for as long as you can. True story. One time when I was a baby, we lived in Kansas City, my family, and there was an ice storm when I was like 3 years old, and it was about 0 degrees at this time. So it iced. It iced about a quarter inch, and you go, okay, a quarter inch, that's not bad, Quarter inch of rain, it doesn't flood. Quarter inch of snow, it doesn't cause any problems, whatever. A quarter inch of ice, once that accumulates on trees and power lines, it'll drag the tree to the power line and cut it in half. Okay, and it's really dangerous. So anybody that tells you, "Oh, ice is cool, ice storms, let's go chase," you're fucking nuts. I mean, there's no other way I can put it. You're crazy. But anyway, so that happened right behind our house, and we didn't get power on for like 2 weeks. So that was really fun. So don't be in an ice storm if you can't avoid it. It's not fun. Snow's alright, rain's alright, even sleet will let you slide, but not ice. Okay? It's never good. When you're on black ice on a road or a highway, it's never good. It's not gonna be a good day for you. But to recap that, yes, the polar vortex is nothing new, and it happens on a common basis. Okay? And I want to hear it's global warming or extreme weather. It just happens. It's happened for millions of years, and it'll continue to happen. Maybe the severity of it is increasing or decreasing, but the actual phenomenon itself is not. Okay. Alright, before I get to the to Seabury's high exclusive stuff, I want to talk about the Yellow Pages. How it finally met its demise. Somebody finally put that dog down after so many years. Whoever runs the Yellow Pages, you'd imagine the American Yellow Pages Association, or whoever the fuck. Doctor! So, who are you? I'm the president for Yellow Pages Association. What? Anyway, the Yellow Pages will cease to exist after last year, so it's already defunct. Is there anything more obsolete or uninspiring or Danish hieroglyphic wolfy than the Yellow Pages? That 50-pound piece of shit book that they put on your doorstep of your house, okay, and then leave it there for a month because nobody wants it. Okay, has this conversation ever happened in your family before? Mom, I want a pizza. What did you leave the Yellow Pages? Yeah, it happened in the year 2011 because you've been thinking of it. You're living in fantasy land. Okay? I need a plumber. Honey, where did you leave the Yellow Pages? I need my shower fixed. Yellow Pages, no. It has not happened since like 1992. Okay. If I want a pizza, and Daytona's had some very good local pizza shops, Genovese's, Lenny's, Stavos, the list goes on and on. If I want any pizza from any one of those, like, oh, even Papa John's or Domino's or Pizza Hut, I'll go down, I'll fire up my iPhone, say pizza around me, and then get 10 results. And I'll take about a half second. Oh, let's say if I'm on the computer and that happens, I can get millions of results, and maybe that will take 4 seconds. That 50-pound book that I should be using to exercise weights and stuff like that will take minutes. And it's not effective. That's heavier than fucking computers in the 80s. You should see an old school computer. You really should. Because, boy, those things were heavy as fuck. But the Yellow Pages were reminiscent of that. Okay? And I already heard somebody argue with me. Yellow Pages is 75% recyclable. Yeah, it's 100% waste of time and space. Okay, nobody cares about the Yellow Pages. I'm 18, so I'm part of the millennial generation, right? A generation, whatever. Is there anyone below 50 that uses Yellow Pages or writes checks? Not many. Not many. I'm finally glad someone wised up. They were probably losing a shit ton of money because nobody invested in it. But I'm glad somebody in the Yellow Pages wised up and said, you know what, this is not how people consume stuff anymore. The times have changed and our best days are behind us. So yes, the Yellow Pages is no more and it's missed by no one. Okay. So that's my thoughts on that. You can stop sending me that shit. Okay. So the final topics we'll be talking about today, or tonight, it's 9:34. Goddamn, my voice is about to go. I don't know if you can hear or not, but it was 2 separate occurrences in my 6th period in 4 days, and if you don't go to Seabreeze, you will not understand. Okay, so AP Government, and this was Monday, by the way. In AP Government, we were talking about the legislative branch and how many members it had. 535 members, 100 in the Senate, 2 per each state, and 435 in the House. And an odd number came up and it was like 540. So it was like, and we were just swallowing off territories. Guam, District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. And that was a fifth. Because 540 minus 535 is 5. And so nobody came up with it. The teacher didn't come up with it. And I was like, it took me a while. And said, you know what? What are those things on the quarters? You know if you ever play around with money, a quarter has a state on the back sometimes, or a territory. Like, man, I remember seeing the Northern Mariana Islands. I was like, man, hey, teacher, Northern Mariana Islands. And he was like, yeah, right. He was like, yeah, sure. Okay. And I was like, no, seriously. He was like, okay. So I looked it up. And sure enough, it is a territory of the United States. Okay, and American Samoa is also a territory. We both learned that. So, you learn something new every day. But I did prove my government teacher wrong. That's that story, really quick. And I was talking shit Next day, I wasn't really talking shit. I just talked to other teachers about what happened. I felt so proud of myself. It was beautiful. I guarantee a lot of people do not know. We own some territories in the United States other than Puerto Rico and District of Columbia. I would hope people know that, at least. Then again, America's pretty stupid compared to the rest of the developed world, so maybe not. Okay, in economics, keep in mind, 6 period, same class period, just different class. Okay, and we were talking about inflation, and the United States, for whatever reason, has not updated their inflation yield compare the inflation to the base yield since 1982. And the teacher was like, okay, do I have any baseball fans in here? And I kind of raised my hand, and a couple of my friends raised their hands too. And so he was like, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the BLS, has inflation from this year, and they compare it to year X. Now, I'm a fan of Milwaukee Brewers. Well, my economics teacher is a fan of Milwaukee Brewers. And he was like, I was 13 when this happened. Does anybody know what year was the only year in which Milwaukee made the World Series? It didn't even take me a half second to go 1982. And he kind of just looked at me in silence for like 5 seconds and was like, how the fuck do you know that? How the fuck do you know that? He didn't say fuck, of course, but he was like, how the hell do you know that? And he went on and ran for about 5 minutes. And everybody was just away amazed, and I got like high fives on the way out. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Milwaukee did. They made the World Series in 1982, first and only trip so far. Lost to the Cardinals. I learned that actually today, because he and I were talking. I thought it was the Dodgers, but he told me it was Cardinals they played. So that was pretty good. What else? I think that's it. So that was the first episode of the podcast. Thank y'all for listening whenever you do. Throughout the day, throughout the week, or whatever. If you have any comments, like I said, Twitter, Instagram, email, whatever. And as always, thank you, and have a good night. Later. Peace. Said peace.